What's up guys, I'm Paul and welcome to the Ecommerce Gold YouTube channel. So recently I've noticed there's some confusion out there about the differences between dropshipping and traditional e-commerce. So I thought I'd sit down and create a video to hopefully help people understand the differences between the two methods. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline how these two methods work and also list some of the pros and cons of both methods as well. So hopefully after watching this video, you'll be able to make an informed decision as to which one is going to be the best method to choose for your online business. So the first one we're going to be looking at is dropshipping, and the way this works is first off you find a dropshipping supply partner who's selling the kind of products that you want to sell, and then what you do is you list their inventory on your website, and then once it's all listed on your website and your website is ready to go, you then start marketing these products to potential customers, and in most cases this is going to be done by something like Facebook ads or something similar. And then once you get a customer who's interested in your product, what they're going to do is they're going to come back on your site and place an order. Then you're going to place an order with your dropshipping supply partner. Now, depending on the setup you have, this may be automated or you may have to do it manually. But once this order has been placed, your dropshipping supply partner is then going to post that order directly to the customer. You're not going to have to deal with any shipping. So dropshipping sounds amazing, right? And there are also some other pros that go with it as well. The first one being you get access to a large inventory, because basically everything that's available on your supply partner's website, you can list on your website and then promote to potential customers. This gives you access to a massive inventory. The second pro is you don't have to hold any of this inventory, because that's what your supply partner does. All you need to do is list it on your website, so you don't have to deal with actually physically holding products. The third thing is, if you do it properly, you can automate the whole process. You can automate the importing of products from your supplier websites, depending on the setup you have. You can also relatively automate your ads, and then you can automate the process of the customer orders going directly from your website to their website. So you can basically automate nearly the whole process if you want to. And what this means is you can live effectively the laptop lifestyle and run this from anywhere in the world, which is appealing to a lot of people. And the final pro is you have lower startup costs. This is because you're not having to buy and hold inventory, which means you're probably not going to need staff and things like that either, which are some of the biggest costs that are incurred by e-commerce businesses. But in dropshipping, you don't have any of these costs. All you need to do is pay for your website and then have a budget for marketing. That's all you need to get started with dropshipping. So dropshipping sounds amazing, right? In fact, it almost sounds too good to be true, and in some cases it can be, because there are some cons with this method that I'm going to list now. So the first con is narrow profit margins. Now this doesn't apply to every product. There are some products out there that do have good profit margins when it comes to dropshipping. You just need to put the research in to find these products. But a lot of products are going to have really narrow profit margins. This is because effectively you're getting squeezed from both sides of the equation. On the buying side, you're usually paying a more expensive price for that product. This is because you're buying single units. You're not getting the benefit of bulk discounts. And when you buy a single unit, you're paying a higher price. And then on the flip side of things, when it comes to actually marketing that product, the only real USP you've got as a dropshipper is the price you're selling it for. There's lots of other things that you don't have control of in the process. So this means if you're competing against a lot of other dropshippers or even established names like Amazon, you may have to cut your sale price in order to just get a sale. And this means you're getting squeezed on both sides, and profit margins can be very narrow on dropship products. So the second con I've kind of already mentioned, and that's the competition. Because the barrier to entry is so low for dropshipping, because you only need a few $100s to get started, there's hundreds of thousands of people doing the same thing as you, trying to start a dropshipping business. And because the competition is so high, it means profit margins are going to get narrowed. Plus, you're not only going up against other dropshippers, you're going up against established and traditional e-commerce businesses that have much more control over their pricing and USP than what you do. You're also going up against the giants of the industry like Amazon. So it can be very difficult to actually get started with dropshipping because the amount of competition that's out there, even though some YouTubers do make it look really easy to get one and make it profitable in no time. But it is actually quite challenging, especially when you're just getting started. So the third con is shipping times, and this can be a killer for dropshipping businesses because a lot of the way dropshipping businesses are set up is they're Western countries, so the UK or the USA, and they dropship directly from China. But the lead times on the shipping can be massive. It can be anywhere from 4 up to 12 weeks potentially, which is going to be a really difficult sell to your customer, especially when they can go to somewhere like Amazon, order it, and potentially get it the same day or next day. It's going to be a really difficult sell. And you can even get to the point where people actually forget they've placed an order with you, or they're really unhappy with having to wait so long. If they've been waiting 6 weeks and it hasn't shown up, they may actually want a refund before the item's even been delivered, which can leave you out of pocket because you need to give a refund and they may still get the product as well. So it can be a killer for dropshipping businesses is the shipping times. And following on from that can be supply chain issues, which are a big problem at the moment anyway. But it can be a big issue with dropshipping businesses because you're not holding the inventory, you're reliant on your supply partner actually holding it. And what can happen is they can run out of that stock, they can cancel that stock, so they can just basically remove that listing from their website, or what can happen is they can actually change it. So the product you're actually selling, they may subtly change, and when the customer receives it, it's not exactly what they ordered. And any of these scenarios are not good for your business because in the first two, if it's been out of stock or it's been cancelled, you're going to have to issue a refund and the customer's probably not going to be very happy with that. And the third one, if they get something that's not what they actually ordered, they're also going to be unhappy as well and they're going to want a refund. So basically, none of these situations is good for a dropshipping business. So the next one basically follows on from the previous two, and that is that you can end up being stuck with returns. This is because dropshipping supply partners generally don't accept returns. They're wholesalers. Once it's been sent out, they want nothing to do with it. Maybe if the item's faulty or something like that, you may have some recourse, but generally if the customer just changed their mind or they don't like it, the wholesaler's not going to want it back. You're going to be stuck with the return. So then it's your job to actually either try and sell that product on, maybe list it on your website again, or try and clear it out in bulk with something like eBay or something like that. But basically, you're going to have to deal with returns. And this can be a big issue, especially if there's any kind of quality control issues with your product, which can be another con. Because you're not actually buying these products and checking them before you send them out, if there is any quality control issues, you're the one who's going to have to deal with it. You're the one who's the face of that product. So it's going to be your reputation on the line. So as you can see, there's a few cons to dropshipping that you do need to be aware of before you go and venture and start a dropshipping business. And a lot of people won't cover these cons because they just want to basically convince you that you should go for this and go through and sign up to things like Shopify or dropshipping supply partners so they earn a commission. But they're not going to tell you the negatives that come with dropshipping. And some of these dropshipping negatives can end up costing you money. So do be aware and do your research before you commit to any of these businesses. So the second thing we're going to be looking at is traditional e-commerce, which is the way a lot of more established e-commerce businesses work. And it's also the method I used when I had my e-commerce business as well. So we do have quite a lot of experience with this one. And the way this method works is you find a supply partner. And what you do is you buy these products directly from the wholesaler or supplier, manufacturer, whatever it is, but you buy directly from them and you'll buy quite a few units. So you actually physically hold that stock. Then once you've brought that stock, you list it on your website. You then market that to customers. So that can be Facebook ads, very similar to the way you would with dropshipping. But then when the customer actually places an order with your website, it's you who post that product out to the customer. It's not the supply partner. You deal with all the logistics around getting that product from you to your customer. So that is how the traditional e-commerce business method works, and in some ways it's somewhat simpler than dropshipping. But what are some of the pros of this method? Well, the first one is you generally have better profit margins. This is because you have more control over costs through the process, because you're generally going to be buying in bulk, and if you're buying products in bulk, you will generally get a better price per product. This is because if you're buying 500 units, the wholesalers or suppliers will generally give you a better rate than if you're buying individual products like you will with dropshipping. And this gives you more control over the pricing aspect of your product, because when you're selling it, you've got bigger margins to deal with. You also have more control over other costs, so things like postage and packaging costs, shipping costs, things like that. You have more control over these costs because you choose who you partner with. And this can mean that businesses that do traditional e-commerce can be far more profitable. The second pro of traditional e-commerce is shipping times. This is because you control the shipping. So you may be able to do things like next day shipping or 2-day shipping, which means your customer's going to get the product quickly, which is what customers are beginning to expect, especially with the way things like Amazon work. They're expecting the product to be delivered to them quickly. And you can somewhat do this when you're doing traditional e-commerce. Yes, you're going to be reliant on your shipping companies that you partner with, but it's not going to be weeks like it could be with dropshipping. It's going to be days to a week that you're going to get that product from you to the customer. And the third pro is quality control. Because you're actually holding these products yourself, you can do quality control assessment on these products. So if you buy a batch of 500 units in, you can test some of them randomly to see if the quality is actually there. And you may also have some comeback on the supplier or manufacturer if you do buy in bulk, because they're going to want repeat business. So if you go through and find that the quality just isn't there on the product, you may have some comeback with them to say, look, I'm not happy with this product. I either want you to have them back or I just want a refund. I'm not happy with this. You may have some comeback with them. It does depend on where the supplier is and where you are and the way things work. But generally you will have some kind of comeback because you've actually been a wholesale customer, and you may have some comeback if the quality isn't quite there. And overall, with traditional e-commerce, you can provide a better customer experience for your customer because of the reasons I've just mentioned. Because you can be more competitive on price, you can be quite competitive when it comes to shipping, you can get the product to them quickly, you can also do quality control on your product. So overall, you have more control over your business, and when you have more control over your business, you can provide a better experience to your customers, which is going to look better for your business in the long run and can sometimes lead to repeat businesses or your business just growing in general with things like recommendations and things like that. So those are some of the pros of traditional e-commerce, but what are some of the cons of this business method? Well, the first one is you're going to need more capital to get started. This is because you're going to be buying and holding that stock. So you're going to need the money to actually go out and buy the products first and then be able to hold them. Now, depending on what the product is, you may also incur more costs as well. You may incur storage costs if it's big and bulky items. If you're going to be shipping out lots of products, it may be more than you can deal with on your own. So you might have things like staffing costs and things like that. So overall, it can be a more expensive way to get started because you need more money for potentially more things. So the second con is you can be left holding stock, and this is really frustrating. Trust me, I've been there on that one. I bought things thinking they were going to sell, and they just sat there for months and months, in some cases even years. And this can be really, really frustrating. The first reason it can be frustrating is because it's taking up storage space. If you've got limited storage space, you don't want stuff sat there that's not selling. The second way it can be frustrating is you've got capital tied up in that, and this can affect your cash flow because basically you want stuff moving through your business as quickly as possible. If stuff's just sat there, you've just got money tied up in inventory that you can't sell, and you could be using that money for basically buying different things, trying different things with your business. So it can be quite annoying having money tied up in stock. It is very, very frustrating if you haven't gathered that point already. So the final con I'm going to mention for this video when it comes to traditional e-commerce is it's a more involved process. It's not like dropshipping where you can basically automate the whole process. You have to be involved, and you basically run this on a day-to-day basis. You can't sit on a beach in Spain and have it all running for you. You're going to have to actually be there and running this business, where this is buying stock, managing stock, shipping orders out to your customers, dealing with returns, things like that. You're going to have to be there basically every single day running this business because you can't automate a lot of the processes with it. And for some people, this isn't what they want to do. They want something where they can just sit back and basically let the money roll in. With traditional e-commerce, you can't really do that. So those are the two methods, and also some of the pros and cons of both of them. But I can basically guarantee which question you're going to ask next. But Paul, which one should I go for? Which one is the better option? And honestly, I can't answer that one. You need to make that decision yourself. You need to do the research and make an informed decision as to which one's going to be better for you. But I will give you my opinion on which one I prefer. And I prefer traditional e-commerce. The reason is I like to have more control over my business. I don't like the idea of outsourcing every single thing and not being able to control certain elements. I prefer to have more control over my business, so I have more control over the way things operate. I have more control over prices. I can negotiate better deals when I'm buying products in. I can control things like shipping and things like that. I just prefer to have more control over my business, so I have more control of the direction of the business and where it goes. So that's just my opinion. I prefer traditional e-commerce, But I do also see the benefits of drop shipping as well. The reason is it can be a great way to actually do like product research before committing to buying bulk orders from wholesalers. So you can basically kind of test the water with drop shipping without committing massive amounts of money like you would do with a traditional e-commerce business. But overall, I'm a fan of traditional e-commerce just because it gives you more control of your business in the long run. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, a like would be absolutely awesome. Also, you can support the channel by buying me a coffee using the link in the description below, and that's very much appreciated. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.